Okay, it's round number 2. Right here on Bridger and Charlie's podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a rough going, but there's a lot of stress in the world this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to blame you first of all, Bridger. And the reason is because you talked me into going to Batman exactly 1 week from the day.
Right.
And so I'm blaming you for this week.
Well,
Not that it's fair for me to blame you, but
no, it is fair actually.
because we
Shouldn't have gone to Batman. That movie sucked.
if we'd skipped it, we wouldn't have had the fun week that I've had anyway.
All right, I just lost the whole Batman audience. Sorry, guys.
I think Batman lost the Batman audience.
Yeah, it just seemed. What's his actor? Christian Bale. He just didn't seem like he was happy to even be doing it. he was stooped over with that, cane, just like, I don't even want to be Batman anymore, and they don't want to see me as Batman anymore. Well, fuck it. I guess I'll have to jump out of the well and be Batman, But
Yeah, he's like a cranky old man. Oh, I gotta go be Batman. Fuck. I thought I was just gonna be this decrepit hermit.
a girl can jump out of the well and I can't. I better do a bunch of push-ups.
And how many times did he break his back?
I don't know.
Quite a few.
But I thought the guy with the gas mask was really nice for letting him live in a wishing well with a bunch of people to take care of him.
Right. Well, the whole thing's ridiculous.
Right.
But
we did jump back. That was basically the last thought where we were leaving off we recorded this that same night that we went to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday we finished it, and you wanted to go to Batman. I was like, I don't know.
Well.
But we went, and it was cool. It was cool being at Universal. But there was a weird energy going on that night.
Yeah, but when did the weird energy arrive?
I don't know, man. I went to the doctor yesterday. And I went because I got a little thing on my nose. And I thought it was a zit. And he's like, well, you can get a x-ray done and figure out what it is. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I would like to know what it is. But he goes, it's not skin cancer. It's not anything to worry about. I'm like, okay. So then I started talking to him. And he's, from Azerbaijan. I think that's how you say it.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah. And we just started talking about philosophy and energy and reality. And what is reality? And we got it. We spent more time doing that than we spent as doctor-patient.
And he didn't charge you extra?
No. It was a really cool conversation. So he gave me all these things to look up and check out that he knew about. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what did you guys determine is reality?
Well, one of the things he brought up was this Dr. Sarno, and he wrote a book called The Divided Mind. And his main thing is, I was listening to a little bit this morning, oddly parallel to one of my favorite nemesises of Los Angeles thing, which would be the Great L. Ron. And basically he thinks a lot of pain and problems in people's lives are psychosomatic. Meaning the pain is brought on by the mind.
And I would say Elron is brilliant in that capacity.
Right. And I read all of Elron. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to admit it. Some people give me crap about it. It's like, whatever.
He is qualified to talk about the subject of Scientology, having read the whole catalog, and he's not a Scientologist.
I'm not a Scientologist, but I do think I think
Then I should read the
think,
whole catalog.
right. No.
Okay, sorry. No,
I had
you
an
did it.
opportunity to do it, and I did it. So,
Yeah.
but I think L. Ron was trying to bring the idea of psychosomatic illness to the forefront, saying, look, there's a lot of ailments in society, as is the Sarno guy. He doesn't touch on L. Ron, even though I think he's post L. Ron. And I think he does that because obviously Scientology has a very bad reputation, and to really reintroduce psychosomatic, they're trying to make a break from that because
Hey, for our listeners that aren't familiar with that word, do you want to define it for them?
psychosomatic is, you might have a pain in your back.
It's an imaginary mental illness, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, it's like
It's a conceived thing that's not really there.
well, let's say you have a pain in your knee, right? And you've never actually physically hurt your knee, but maybe you watched a movie, or someone touched you on the knee and you had a pain from something else at the same time, and you associated that pain with your knee for whatever reason. So anytime that's triggered in your mind, this thing in your knee flares up because your mind is causing it to flare up. And you might not even be aware of that consciously, that that's going on. And so it's actually your mind triggering a sensation that's physical. And the physical pain itself is actually real. The root of it, the cause of it, is all psychological. So the somatic part is the physical. The psychological part is the psycho, hence psychosomatic. But so anyway, that's what this Sarno guy's saying, that a lot of people who do back pain, other things, are it's actually a psychosomatic. So like if you're in a car accident, for instance, and you get whiplash, and L. Ron would use this example. Hopefully they don't sue me. But it's similar with so if you're in the middle of being in a car wreck, and let's say Pantera's on the radio, right? And it's a particular Pantera song, right?
Hey, we played that game once. I can tell you about it later, but don't let me interrupt you.
So this particular Pantera song is on as you're getting whiplash, right at that moment when it happens. And so years later, you haven't heard that Pantera song for years, right? And then all of a sudden that one song comes on, and all of a sudden you feel the pain again of that whiplash sensation, because your mind goes, oh, the last time I heard that song was when I was in the middle of getting whiplash. And you might not even consciously realize that, but the unconscious mind's so complicated and probably so much more beyond the capabilities we give it credit for. All of a sudden, you're feeling the pain because it's associated with that song. And that's the trigger that triggers that pain. It's a weird trip, man. That's kind of L. Ron's basic version of how psychosomatic triggers are born.
This kind of has nothing to do with it, but it's similar. I think we were in high school. We were rolling in a car, and we played this little radio game. Like, oh, if a Led Zeppelin song comes on, then we're all gonna get laid tonight. If a Pink Floyd song comes on, then we're gonna score some weed. And if a Van Halen song comes on,
right,
we're gonna get in a car wreck. So we did that. And
Really?
next thing I know, a Van Halen song came on.
right.
I don't remember which one. Might have been Panama or something. But it came on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we'd finished the song or not, but bam, dude.
Really?
We hit a car.
So you created the trigger, and it occurred.
Yeah.
That subconscious mind.
Yeah, so you don't want to play road games like that. Those are...
Right.
In fact, let's state further that that's precisely what we did learn from the Batman thing. Was all about
Now, do you
bringing negative energy into what happened.
Right, that's true.
My friend, your host.
Hold on. Before you start, I just want to say, Bridger and I earlier had a false start. But what we were trying to do was improve the show. Bringing new elements, new sounds, new capabilities. And one of the capabilities that we did get, which was tough because computers are fun to work with sometimes. One of the things we did was we got cool sound effects now, and we have the ability to play music back. Since you brought up Van Halen, I just want to play
okay.
Because you love Van Halen.
I do.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to put you out there like that. But I admire Van Halen myself, and we can play any Van Halen song right now, and that'd be probably the first song we're actually going to play on the podcast.
Are you going to play a whole song or just like
part of it, just an excerpt?
Just ain't talking about Love Intro.
Okay. And then keep your story going while
The song always reminds me of like Pac-Man, 1978.
Here we go.
Orange donuts with glaze.
And here it is.
Southern California.
Look at that, boys and girls. We got tunes on the Bridger and Charlie. So. Not only that, but I can do the crazy filter shit like the rape people.
Exactly.
Check that out.
So that's a good luck. In this instance, Van Halen coming on was a good sign.
This is a good thing because Van Halen is very cool.
But to get back to what the show's about.
I'm going to fade it out like a trance song.
Exactly.
Ooh.
What we were talking about, the whole point which we got in, we don't even know what the show's about, but now the show is telling us what it's about, which is that Charlie started mentioning about his car accident as we passed the spot on the 101 where he was rear-ended at high speed by a California Highway Patrol officer, which turned into a pretty gnarly wreck. And he'll tell you more about that. But the point is that him mentioning that, I would say it was about 5 minutes later, and I didn't want to say anything. I was kind of like, don't talk about car wrecks while we're driving. That's a common thought, Yeah, but we got into the city, and we were pulled up to a stoplight, and we were talking about going to 7-Eleven to get some Reese's Pieces or Rite Aid, and bam, we got nailed. I mean,
I was thinking after that? Because we did just go by the Scaremaster's house, Scary Perry. And remember, I was like, dude, we should get out.
Right.
We should go. And you're like, no.
Well, you're right. I don't want to go stalk some creepy Hollywood weirdo guy at his apartment at 3 in the morning.
It wasn't stalking. We were just going to see maybe Scary Perry was out.
Right.
And we could say, hey, can we get your autograph or whatever? But yeah, so... Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of what happened, but we did go by the place of that accident with the CHP. And
we did successfully gather that negative energy and store it up so that we could use it in Northridge.
Well, successfully gather, I would say we had an intention to gather it. Gathering, I think, requires...
Right.
We just passed by. I was just showing you the place, but
we're talking about like speaking negativity into fruition. That's kind of, we started talking about the radio game, and some way you had been connecting psychosomatic, that's the common thread in this.
Right, the underlying consciousness.
Yeah, the underlying theme and how that brings about negative forces at times. When you're on the wrong... That's why we had a false restart, because we know... Sometimes oh, that's not the path I want to go on. But that one is. That's the path. So...
But that's one of our sound effects, by the way. It can be disorienting.
Like
yeah, it's just randomness. It needs some tweaking, but we'll get there at some point.
Listening to this show stoned must be beautiful.
Now let's... Oh, that's an epic part of this song, right?
It is. It's the flanging whammy dive.
Right.
I bet you didn't
You
even...
described that perfectly, actually. The flanging whammy dive.
Because I've thought about that part for years. I was thought about, like, how did he have his flanger programmed so that it would be so prehistoric in nature?
Well, here we are. The flange manifested at that point.
Exactly.
Because magic things like that do happen.
Exactly.
In fact,
Couldn't have planned it. It would have never worked.
usually things that are planned don't work.
Right.
So then I was talking to the doctor about the accident.
Oh, I never knew this guitar's name is Tiff.
Yeah, that was...
In hot pink, Tiff.
Yeah, Tiff, good old Tiffany.
I knew a Tiff.
She was breastfeeding me, or breastfeeding, yeah. She had some magnificent breasts at the time, and her car broke down out in the middle of the country, and I picked her up, drove her back to the farmhouse she lived at, and it was just me and her.
Really? That's too perfect, man.
This is true. And I take her back to the house, and I don't know how old her kid was. But she's like, oh, I gotta feed whatever his name is. I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
you let her do what you had to do.
So she whipped her big old... I mean, people were wanting to see these things. You know, in guy talk, guy conversation, they're like, oh, I bet you she's got some... Well, she just... There she was feeding him. I felt like, can I try the other one? But I didn't. But what she did do was she had this guitar up in the closet upstairs.
She put that on her.
Yeah, when she was a little girl. And this was her uncle's guitar. And she gave it to me because she knew I played guitar. And there it is.
She gave you this guitar.
She gave me that guitar right after I saw her feeding her child with her beautiful breasts. I mean, they were beautiful.
We're not perverts on this show. Just certain content just winds up peeking its head out. But
well, it was... I can visualize it right now. It's one of those psychosomatic visualizations.
Sex is very psychosomatic.
Right.
You know, how many times have you thought, I'm looking for this, and then something pops its head up?
She did also tell me once, she was kind of a bitch because she goes, I don't think you're that good looking. And I wasn't sure if she was mad because I didn't...
She's definitely a bitch.
If I didn't hit on her or what it was, but maybe she just wasn't having a good day. But, you know, the ladies.
So, yeah, how did we get off on that topic?
Whoa,
Crazy
man,
barnyard chicks, man.
Yeah, she was...
It's like Friday the 13th. There's some guy outside, you know, with a fucking brainworm going on with his hockey ski mask, just like all like,
right.
With his little hatchet. And you're just in the barn just like pounding this chick. Like, you think you're in the top of the world. You have no idea Jason's outside, dude.
Right.
He just like has to fucking use his axe.
Yeah, she was... but that's where that guitar came from. I got it. That's the situation that I got that guitar in. I actually turned it into a slide guitar. But it manifested, dude. And she had car trouble that day, see? On the side of the road.
And she, probably before that, she had turned on a song on the radio that had reminded her of having car trouble in a previous trip.
Possibly.
I don't know.
It's all speculation at this point. But, you know, it all works in mysterious ways.
Yep.
And,
what was that?
Yeah, that was scary. It was like...
that was like the TARDIS materializing over next to her.
Right. So anyway, what else, Bridge? What's happening? We were listening to some old school hip hop earlier.
Yeah, which is refreshing. Now, so kind of... Yeah, so we got hit. And let's just talk about this. So, you know, bam, from out of nowhere, and our heads fly forward. You know,
right.
Airbags were not deployed.
No,
thank God.
I didn't even think of that. That would have sucked if that happened.
But what flashes through your mind is, oh, I'm still here. Damn.
Right.
No, actually, I was happy. But
Well, what flashed through my mind was, oh, we just got hit, but since I drive a stick, a manual,
yeah, and then it's
I
like,
was actually in neutral.
right,
So we
which is
we
good.
actually rolled a little bit, but then I was like, oh, there's a car right in front of us, so I slammed on the brakes so we didn't hit it. So it was actually kind of a threefold part for me because I was driving. But
Yeah.
so then we were sitting there, and the fucking kid sitting there like a deer in
In the headlights. He didn't
Yeah.
know what to do, so we ushered him to the side of the road.
Right.
And we pulled into the 7-Eleven, and, first thing he gets out, and he's just like, look, just please don't call the cops. Not
Right.
even asking if we're okay. Not even saying sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Like, just totally, because he was,
He's fucking hammered.
he was
I mean, he-
under the influence.
Let's say I don't even think he was drunk at that point. He was hammered. He's fucking wasted. This kid should not have been on the road. And I'm like, kid, pull in a fucking 7-Eleven, and then we look, and it's a brand new 2013 Mustang.
Yeah,
Not cheap. It doesn't even have plates on it. It still has the Woodland Hills.
right. And it was a lease.
And it was a lease, and I just...
Major bummer.
Watch out.
Yeah, that was the chair creaking. And so the kid gets out, and we were talking, and he just really did not want us to call the cops. And I could understand, like,
Right.
all right, I could totally
So I
picture
said,
myself.
look, dude, are you able to drive? Are you okay? Let's look at the damages. I looked at my bumper. A decent scratch. It did...
More than that, it was cracked.
It did some cracking on the plastic. But, it wasn't...
It was a pretty good hit. It wasn't just like some car nudged us when we were...
Right.
in
my
park.
neck still hurts a
We
little
jolted.
bit.
We got bumped. I mean, I wanted to make sure that I was okay.
And we'd just seen Batman.
Yeah.
So I was still recovering from that.
And we were talking about the wreck earlier. So anyways, but this kid, he's just like played the role so the innocent, like just I'm just trying to, I had a bad night. It's what he kept saying.
Oh, yeah, he said how his friends didn't want to hang out with him.
Right.
Or how his friends were dicking him around all night or something.
So that,
Like, well, dude, maybe you need to find some new friends.
and something about his girlfriend wasn't doing him any justice, and so he was on a bad psychosomatic trip as well. And
Yeah, so I said, well, you got someone who can call and come pick up the car.
last week it was Ice Cubes.
Right. There we go.
Just got to do it once.
Of course. Oh, that's it. I quit, Bridger. I quit. You didn't tell me you were going to do that. I'm out of here. Do it by yourself.
No way. No way.
Wow, that was actually creepier than I expected.
So anyways, that kid, yeah,
So he drove off.
we didn't call the cops.
No.
We
got his insurance information, got all the information, and
And we were going to call him, and we could, if Charlie wants to, we're going to call him on the show right now to see if they'll pick up, because all hell's going to break
now they're
loose.
playing games.
All hell's going to break
They're
loose.
gonna
If
play
this call
games.
goes through right now, all hell's going to break.
It's not going to go through. I'm not calling.
All right.
I don't want to. I
You don't
want to
wanna.
put that out of my mind for now,
Okay.
because I'm just. I got the perfect song for how I feel about it.
Because it would be the Jerry Springer effect, more people would be like, oh, is he really going to call him?
Well, we could call him, but I don't. I mean, it's kind of a legal technicality, so we probably shouldn't go too deep into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe once everything's all said and done, we can talk more about it. But until that happens,
But until that day,
right? Where's the song? Here's the song. This is how I feel about this whole situation. I'm really fucking not happy about it. So Dr. Dre really puts it down about how I'm feeling. And excessive use of the N-bomb here. But I'm so pissed. I'm like, I can envision this. You know, and this line right here. This is what I'm saying to the kid. Right here. That's my boy Snoop telling you what's up, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's Snoop Lion on the track.
right. And that's how pissed I am. I'm like, dude, I did you a favor and you're gonna fuck me like that, you know? The fuck, dude. That's called bitch ass motherfucker out in LA. And see, now I'm getting pissed about it already.
Yeah, and we can't turn back the clock since he's ignoring his calls and not taking care of the insurance or
right, just being a bitch, dude. And like for me, it's like once you've done a bitch
after
move,
we did him that favor, you know, we can't turn back the clock now and file the police report and get his
Right.
ass a DUI and thrown in jail and lose his car and
but what I can do
fuck up his life.
is
He can listen to rap.
I can listen to Dr. Dre and like get really pissed off, and then I'm like, fuck, dude. But you know, whatever. We'll see what's happened next week with this situation, because I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right.
I'm just
fair enough.
I'm just getting pissed.
Yeah.
You know.
So
You know it's not good
Goodbye
when
to that
when
topic.
Dr. Dre comes on the radio.
yeah, because this is a psychosomatic trigger for you now. Every
Oh,
time
yeah.
you hear it.
Every time I hear that song. Yeah, but you know. Ooh, that sounded like a 22 or something.
Oh yes.
Yeah, those are the groovy effects.
You know what I miss? Laser tag, man.
Right.
They got me.
Bridger has gone crazy with the groovy effects.
Laser tag. We should go do that sometime.
He's like a kid in
As
the
normal,
in the
upstanding
toy
adults
store.
might do.
Right. That sounds like
Do we get a student discount?
right. It's like a weird 80s movie. So,
So 2012, here we are. It's August 3rd. Total Recall came out today.
oh, did it?
Yeah.
We're
Of
not
which-
going tonight.
No, we're not.
Last Thursday ruined it for me, man.
Well, you know, and that too, I don't want to make the call. I've learned it's like better to let other people make the call. So that way I don't have any responsibility. Whatever happens, well, you wanted to. But
So you can pass the buck.
yeah,
Right.
but
And
I could easily.
isn't that the problem today in the world? Everyone doesn't want to make the call, but
Right.
they're more than willing to pass the buck.
You know, that's what my high school teacher. He always just said, "Don't pass the buck."
Don't pass the buck, man. And
That was his like saying for everyone to just remember: don't pass the buck.
And I don't. And you know, I called our lovely academic institution over here, where I don't know where they find the people that work there.
Or
but-
wherever it is. If you're in India, you know, don't pass the rupee.
whatever. it
Don't
is.
pass the franc, the
Yeah.
pound. You know, just don't pass whatever currency it is in your country. Don't pass it.
Don't pass the blunt. For
You can pass that.
for our smokers out there.
You can pass the blunt, but don't pass the pound or the.
Right. But where does academia find the most incompetent people to work for them, especially in the admin offices? I mean, you can find the people who can make things that should take 3 seconds
Now-
take 5 weeks.
Let's clear this up. The most hireable job skill is moldability, is
Moldability.
the highest skill that anyone can obtain is moldability. It's that ability to not be yourself, to
Right.
forego being yourself, to be invisible, to do exactly what you're told is like the highest. It's more than any credential. You could be a doctor, but if you come in here and you have your way of doing things,
Right.
and you, that's like equivalent to
So
having a third grader in here, you know?
Right. So be a total fucking tool, even when you know what you need to do is stand up for what's right, but instead you're going to sit there and be a tool anyway.
Devil wears Prada. Sell us your soul and we'll give you everything.
Right. Fucking tools, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I always wondered, speaking of Tool, did Tool name themselves for exactly the reason what we're just talking about right now? Is that why Tool named themselves Tool?
I don't think so.
Not because they're tools, but
No,
because
no,
they're
no.
sick of the system too. And I want to throw it back to the album that I actually liked from them, which was Undertow.
I mean, who knows?
Prison Sex, Sober, Undertow. I mean, does any of that reach Disgustipated? Which I had some very good times as a teenager too. The one Tool song I always loved the most was just how cool this song was. There was just something about,
That's the remix.
right, just this kind of tribal, the tribal way this part comes about, you know. I always thought I always thought it was like the coolest thing. This and Stone Temple Pilots had another cool little thing like this. It wasn't necessarily rock music, but it was like kind of a trancey.
When I was in English class, and I do like that.
I can even
When
put it
I
in
was
the
in English
background.
class, the older, like, jock stoner, he was huge, dude. He was a
Right.
huge guy. He knew that I liked Van Halen, probably because I was drawing it on my notebooks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Why don't you check this out?" And he gives me this album,
Right.
Undertow. And so I'm like, I take it home. I'm like, sure, I'll check it out. So I open it up, and there's that giant larva caterpillar of a huge naked sumo wrestler lady on the inside.
Oh,
Just
yeah, I remember that. That was a disturbing-
Yeah, and I was like, why would anyone put this inside their CD?
Right.
So I was like looking through the titles. I was like, Prison Sex. I threw it on, and it was this. I was like, I was creeped out.
Yeah, man.
I didn't understand it.
No, it's a trip.
I think I was, yeah. I didn't understand Tool when I was 15. Didn't.
Right. I don't remember how old we were. Probably around then, but I liked that, and then I thought this was the perfect compliment song. Okay. Let's see if this works.
This guy does not use iTunes. He has a little red, old school looking MP3 player.
Yeah, fuck Apple, dude.
Although I do like the iPod.
Right. You hear this? It's just another kind of. Hey, everybody.
Where did Mary go?
Always loved this part.
Where did Mary go?
It was great after you ripped a
Where's
good
my
one.
only cigarette?
Where's my only cigarette?
Please think for me, I can't bear to.
See, there you go, passing the buck. I can't bear to
I'll just
think.
lie here for a while.
That's kind of how I feel right now.
Right.
Wet my bed.
Great. I think this is probably the greatest thing that. What's the singer's name?
Maynard.
No, from STP.
Oh. Scott Weiland.
Scott
That
Weiland.
is him. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I was
yeah.
like, this doesn't sound like Maynard.
No.
And where's my cigarette?
And where's my cigarette?
The bathtub?
Yeah, it's a trip, man.
She sleeps there.
Lady Gaga doesn't do shit like this.
Water cleanses, you know.
You know,
She probably does.
you could be on a really wild whatever right now and just kick back and enjoy yourself.
Maybe she,
And it's just tripped out like that.
maybe she's, maybe
Yeah, this program's kind of interesting. Never used it before, just right now. And then it's the crickets, dude. So anyway, I think the problem is we probably both like music too much.
That's definitely the problem.
You know, it is a problem. It's
Musicians are like handicaps.
we are. We're little cripples because it's like a drug. I was thinking about this the other day. I could be a very successful CEO, boss, whatever.
Right.
But the problem is I enjoy playing music.
The problem is I don't enjoy kissing ass.
Right. And that deserves a sound effect. That's right. I'm Batman.
It's 9:11 on that clock right there.
Is it really?
The ass kissing hour.
Good old 9/11.
Yep.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so the end of everything. So what else, Bridge Dog?
Enjoy the silence.
No one does that anymore.
I did it the other day.
Yeah.
I was sleeping at your couch, dude, and I was like thinking of enjoy the silence. I was like,
And then the gardeners came, right?
not that day.
Hey,
Not that day.
we're gonna clean the tree, man. At their fucking gas blower. God. Yeah, I know, they're just doing their yobs. That's cool.
Yobs. Can I talk to your monitor?
Yeah. Hey, what you doing there, buddy? Yeah, love them though. Well,
This is number 2 for us, and
this is the big number 2.
we're gonna listen to this some time, like 15 years in the future. So
Right.
20, maybe 30. It depends on how long we last.
Now, doing a podcast, what were we talking about?
In
What
the
were-
future, it's not even gonna be a podcast. It's gonna be like
Live.
a hologram cast or something.
Possibly. But we were talking about something that got us back in here because, to be quite honest, this thing was dead for a good 20 minutes. This wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But what was it that we were talking about before the computer difficulties killed that flow of train of thought? We had a train of thought there.
Yeah, well, that was the phone call thing.
No, there was something else before we were talking about. Right. So next time we're going to have like telephone sound effects and shit like that. Gunshots for when I'm pissed. Or atomic bombs too. That'd be cool.
Do you think they've really discovered teleportation?
Who says they have?
William Stillings, he's my Facebook friend. He supposedly was teleported with Barack Obama to Mars. And he has like all this shit he's posting. I'm not kidding. He has all this. He has all this shit he's posting on Facebook, like of actually the portal and all this. And
Really?
these guys, if they're acting,
Right.
they're doing a good job, dude.
Okay.
They're doing a good job. Like, I always take everything as a grain of salt. Like, it could be bullshit, but I like to see how people act or how people could be so dumb to believe something.
Right.
Those are the two factors. Or if they're smart enough to, make people believe. But they're advertising that teleportation exists in a few spots on this planet, and they have video. You might want to check it out.
I'll look into it.
Now, Charlie has... Can I tell him? Charlie has a time machine in his room.
Dream machine.
Dream machine, but isn't it supposed to make you go back in time or no?
No, it's supposed to. It flickers at the rate that our eyes take light in, so it actually manipulates your brain into like a mild trance where you might.
Oh, it's for out of
You
body,
might have a vision.
out of body experience thing, wasn't it? Astral travel. It's for that, right?
No, it's more just to put you in a trance and kind of just. I'll turn it on right now, man.
Yeah, do that. Well, I thought you or John had a time machine. Was I wrong? It was the dream machine.
It's always been the dream machine.
Okay.
The dream machine is John's dream project, which I'm not going to go into specifics on that, but
Basically,
it's in
this-
the works. It's been in the works for a very, very,
Basically,
very long
this is a
time.
record player with a lampshade on top of it, that's been created and with cutout parts, and inside the shade is a light. So if you'll imagine the record spinning around this tall-looking lampshade with holes cut out, it casts lights and strange shadows around. And I imagine everything has to be totally dark to utilize it correctly.
Oh, not necessarily, because the light is so
But
bright.
it actually makes you feel like you're going into Doctor Who's time warp, right?
Well, the trick is what it
Which
started.
deserves some more weirdness.
That actually matches the scene, but
We're going back in
yeah,
time.
it's more to induce kind of a trance state, so you'll
That's right. It's working. Oh my god.
right.
That's it.
We're totally there now. Everyone's like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
The meaning of life.
Anyway, we'll leave it on. We don't need to talk about it, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
The real trick, though, is you're supposed to go up right to it.
Oh, we're not going to talk about
Close
it.
your eyes like this, and so the flicker hits your eyes at the perfect speed,
I see it right now, man.
and then you'll start to kind of hallucinate naturally if you stare into
That's
it long.
pretty trippy.
And in legend, it said that Dave Grohl caught Kurt Cobain doing this for 8 hours straight
That's how he made it, kids.
on multiple occasions.
It
right?
wasn't the heroin, it was the dream machine. Well, I see right now.
Now, if you go right up to where the bulb is and then close your eyes, that's the most
I don't know.
efficient way to do it. And he's doing it right now. And it's fair.
pretty wild.
Yeah, so imagine doing that for 8 hours, and that was what Kurt was doing.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of looks like an intense psychedelic trip to do that. I didn't
Right.
think it would be like that.
Yeah. So William Burroughs was doing it, and a good friend of ours, John Asnile, went and visited Burroughs, and
Stole his recipe.
no, I think because David was building them at the time, I believe. So I'm not sure if Burroughs bought one and they delivered it, or if he already had it. But Iggy Pop has done it. Some other people, but it's interesting. So I had the opportunity because I'd met David and whatnot, and I kind of became familiar with it over the years. So I made one too. It's kind of the poor man's version, but
Good job.
yeah,
Speaking of that, how are we on time?
I have no idea.
Because we like to keep these things at an hour.
We're at about 42.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So we got some effects, we got some tunes, and you know,
maybe someone from the future listening to this can ask us a question and we can telepathically absorb it right now and answer it.
So what do you think that question is then, right off the top of your head?
Let me listen.
Okay. Any ideas?
Not quite getting it.
Now check this out. I can actually time warp us back to last week.
Please do that.
British Empire. When they went and colonized, brought slavery to the Americas, that went to India and fucked the Indians and went down to. That was our
Australia and
podcast
all
from
that.
last week. Who is the guy?
Oh my
that gets the
God.
Credit for that. Yeah. So last week I was asking this part.
Well, my point was, before we go off on that.
Who is the guy who gets credit for the British Empire?
Oh,
There is no identifiable person because the victor is never allowed to be identified, is he?
now you're talking about colonization of India?
Everywhere the British Empire colonized, man. That'd be here, that'd be India, that'd be wherever. I mean, where didn't they kind of fuck in a way, right?
Well, before Queen Elizabeth, who was on the throne?
I don't know. George? I really don't know the history.
It's got to be one of the King Georges or Henrys.
I mean, don't they only share like 3 or 4 names anyway? There's Queen Anne, Queen Elizabeth,
Yeah.
the 15,000th. I mean, that's kind of weird in itself. That's kind of a weird energy play there, isn't it? Kind of.
I don't think there's anyone more bored on this planet than the Queen. She's like, I've seen it all.
Right.
He's like, you can have James Bond drop out of the sky and I won't even faze me.
Let's find another random spot in last week's podcast and let's just hear where we're at. Okay, right there. Tries to intimidate me on the road, and then he was behind me chasing me, and I was like accelerating just so he couldn't quite reach my car. And so he was kind of like a dog chasing a car.
What was that?
It was pretty funny.
So
That's
I
a
guess
trip,
the
huh?
real-
Talking about cars.
Yeah, but what chase are you describing? I don't even remember that.
Probably some asshole driving a Beamer trying to show me that he's the big guy on the freeway.
Oh, yeah. You weren't talking about the police officer.
No,
thing.
no.
Okay.
You know how they do it. He owns the road. I just didn't know he had the title. Yeah. So that's a trip going back in time to last week.
Yeah, so we kind of were time traveling.
Right. We took our
Music is probably the closest thing we'll ever have to a time machine.
Let's talk about music. Let's talk about, you and I have both recorded songs, both by ourselves and maybe 1 or 2 together. If it's a 5-track song, each track takes 5 minutes, and I could spend, recording-wise, 25 minutes on each track for the entirety, right? And then you have a cumulative time all occurring at once when you listen to it back. So it's like compressed time right there. But not only that, but a recording is a record. Like, I have a record of a receipt from when I bought something. It's a record. A record of that event that occurred, right? And that's what a record really is. It's a record of that time, whatever was occurring then. That's where the word record comes from. You know, so, you know, these vinyl things that play the sound back are actually records of the past. You know, that, hey, this is what happened at such and such time. In a way, they should almost put the exact time that the record was recorded, right? And be even in a more...
Well, they do. They just don't tell you what time of day. They just tell you 1983.
Right. So all of our music is really a record of that specific moments in time. And I don't know if people think about that, but I have.
Which is why, I mean, now they're going to have records of everything about us, you know?
Now we probably have too much record of things.
Just wait till the future, man.
Dude. It's too much.
They'll know everything that you did your whole life will be on some type of a computer.
That's just disgusting.
And you'll be able to call. Yeah, it is.
I don't even want to. I mean, like...
It'd be a bunch of garbage, but...
Right. Like, here's a record from, what, the 30s when Robert Johnson... We're going to go back and we're going to listen. Here's a record of it. A record of that time.
This is like the king of the king of the kings.
He was damn good. Some say he sold his soul to the devil. Did he? Never had a chance to ask him.
He just told you.
He was great, though. But that's a record from... what, 80 years ago now? You know, proof that happened.
Back when, like, oh, he's lucky he got to record something. Now it's just
Right.
like, I don't know, maybe I'll record next week, you know, like, nobody, everyone takes it for granted, but back then, like, you had to be
Right.
special to record.
Oh, there was traveling recorders. There was only a few people that had the equipment to do it, actually. Because part of it was just having the equipment. And being familiar with the equipment, even. There's a lot of recorders, people who want to say they're producers today, but are they? You know, we could go down and buy everything we need right now in 3 seconds from scratch.
But learning to use it is
learning
a whole
to use
nother
it's a
story.
whole nother trip.
I mean, you could read the whole manual, and then even then,
That's not even.
gonna.
You haven't even started if you've read the manual.
Right.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
And it's overwhelming.
oh yeah.
I think, but I just try to keep stuff as simple as I can, or I would get lost in it. You know.
I told my brother when he started thinking about recording, I said, dude, if you do that, it's a long fucking road. It's not just cut and paste. It's a long road of understanding. And if you want to be a musician and find someone who went down that road. And just put all your energies into being a musician, because your musicianship will be that much better because you didn't waste all this time with the recording nonsense, which...
And that's kind of good advice, man.
Right. Just focus on that one thing. You know? Because I guess I didn't think about it when I went down the wrong road, but if I'd spent my whole life playing Robert Johnson every day, dude.
Yeah, dude, but no, because now you just like earlier, we're sitting in your living room and you're able to go through all these songs you made, and that's dope.
That's a trip.
It's probably the coolest thing. A music lover, like we said earlier, it's probably the coolest thing you can do is look at records of what you did. And maybe even it's a video, or maybe it's just a CD.
And I've made videos.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not just talking about like official releases. We're talking about the stuff that's on our computers, that's on our mini disc players, that's in our tapes and our tape decks.
Right.
All those old camcorder footage, all those things.
It's a trip, though. I think it gets better in time.
Yeah,
because the nostalgia factor or something happens.
It is. And you become that young when you watch like a video of you 19 playing guitar, 20. Yeah. You become that young again. When you just watch it, I don't know. It's a very original feeling.
It's a trip. Let's find the hit song we had. The hit song that if we didn't live in a world of passing the buck, where if we lived in a world where things were judged on what they should be judged. Oh, there's the distort. Is that a Skrillex sample right there? It sounded like a newest Skrillex. Skrillex, yeah. That's a trip right there. So we'll play a little snippet. And now we did this years ago. I mean, it was so long ago. And it was done, I don't... Oh my God.
This song is a classic though, man.
Yeah, it was
a kid.
Yeah, man, I mean, now I'm broke.
I think we should get this song on KCRW or something.
I don't think Disney would approve. And Disney's got a lot of money and a lot of lawyers. And they don't want...
Why don't we just take that... Because we're going to go to Disneyland to do a Disneyland trip soon. Why don't we take that to Disneyland and bump it on a boombox?
Right.
And then we'll go and shoot like a video or something.
Because Disney's security's like Nazis, man. They're hardcore. Like, they don't mess around. Ever since 9/11, it's changed so much. You can't even... I took my mom there. She smoked. I think she quit recently, which is good. But she was smoking at the time, and I used to smoke, and you couldn't smoke anywhere. There's 3 places in the entire park. And my mom,
That's how things get worse with age, too, man. Right. I mean, in a way... Like, all the freedoms get messed with eventually, Just like them building that park up there at the top of our valley.
Oh, yeah.
Dumping a bunch of concrete back there. We got all kinds of nature up in there.
Right. So people can park. That's one thing I noticed in California.
There's going to be so much litter up there. It's like, your tax dollars at work. Like, thank you very much. Now, we've just poured asphalt in the coyote and mountain lions
Right.
bedding.
Well, it was a great place where there's trails, nature. There was even a creek when it would rain.
Right.
And what the city has decided is that it's better to cut down all the environment so that these
So that we can make something for filthy, smelly, ass-kissing humans to go and tromp through on their weekends off, so they could feel like, yeah, I went into nature
Right.
over the weekend,
and they needed to be able to drive up to it.
and I
and
wanted to drive up into the nature, you know.
Right. They couldn't actually hike to it. They had to drive to it, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, so we're at almost an hour.
All right.
But
Because you know how we are. We're super strict on the hour. It's like,
I just forgot about it even. So, but that's one thing I noticed when I first went camping here. Was in Wisconsin and Oregon. In Oregon, even more so than Wisconsin. When you go camping, sometimes you really gotta hike a ways to get to the campsite. California, you can actually pull into the campsite.
and you don't even have to get out of your vehicle and you're camping. Like
Yeah.
if it's an RV, it's like, yeah, I'm camping.
And they call
I
it
parked my
camping.
RV here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not camping. They're like, no, we got a campsite. I'm like, no, this is a fucking parking spot that has a tree next to it. This is not camping.
Not even that. This is just a parking spot that's built from a cut down tree.
Right.
That's just a log on the ground, and then there's dust, but there's like kind of a view of some like trees, maybe a squirrel or two.
Right. And what amazes me more is that I'm sitting there looking around. I'm like, and everyone else is buying it that is camping. I'm like, my God, haven't you guys ever left California? Haven't you ever been camping?
You know what? It'd be really cool. It is cool. I mean, I've done it, but it'd be cool to, camp internationally. Because I haven't done too much international camping, but,
Right.
like to go camping in like
Russia.
Bulgaria or something.
Right.
Romania, dude.
Right.
Somewhere like...
Iraq.
Yeah, Iraq.
I want to, can
Just
you guys
pitch a
hold it
tent.
down? I'm trying to, quit shooting for a second. I'm doing my marshmallows real quick. Playing guitar camping in Iraq. Camp Iraq. I guess soldiers have camped there, in all fairness. It's not really fun,
Right.
I guess. Camp Iraq. Yeah. It's kind of weird, dude. Kind of weird. Well, you can camp. I mean, isn't that what American Indians were doing? The original thing was just
Dude,
camping.
I just want to say...
Wigwam 7.
Yeah. There's something special about camping if you do get a chance to actually go real camping.
Right.
And preferably not in an RV. Preferably you will be on nature's floor, Mother Earth, like your ear will be resting right on the dirt. Maybe just
Right.
maybe one blanket in between, but you'll get a special blessing, charge. You'll get a special gift given to your body if you sleep on the earth itself. It comes through. You will not
Right.
notice it sleeping in a hotel bed. You cannot get it that way. You can only get it from sleeping on the ground. And when you wake up in the morning, you'll feel like you're on drugs. You'll feel really, really high.
You'll feel like you were staring into a dream machine for the last 20 minutes.
You'll feel great, and you won't get it from being in an RV and pulling up to a wooden log on the ground saying, pay your $20.
I'm camping, brah.
We're camping. No, you're not. You're playing cards and you're drinking and you're sitting in the RV and...
Yo, brah, I'm going to run to 7-Eleven. You need anything real quick? That's California camping, dude. With the
But there's some
7-Eleven.
great California camp stuff too.
There
up
is,
north.
there is, yeah.
You gotta go.
I guess I'm thinking SoCal.
Yeah.
SoCal. It's SoCal. Now, sometimes I listen to really cheesy music,
Sokol.
and I just want to share one of them right now. And the cheesy song of the day is, which I actually like, I'll admit it. Something about this song I really like. You know it?
I don't know.
3 Doors Down. I thought of it because we brought up Iraq, and I think this video has...
I always mix up 3 Doors Down with Third Eye Blind.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because they
3
both
Doors
have
Down.
3 for the start, and they both have 3 words.
Yeah, Third Eye Blind is way gayer.
Okay. 3 Doors Down is way more hetero.
Yeah, they were doing like OSO stuff with the military. So they also played the If I Was Superman, the Kryptonite song.
Right.
That's a pretty cool song. But
Well-
so this is my lame song of the day, even though I like it, but whatever.
No, I thought that was alright.
It's one of those lady songs. The ladies dig it, you know. They get all ladyed out about it. They're like, oh, I love that song. Why is it the ladies love some songs? That's the really big question. What is it about music and certain songs that the ladies are just like, oh, I love that song. And they'll listen to it 20 times in a row before they do it again. And they'll be crying and they'll call their best friend, oh, I love this song. And then their best friend goes, I love that song too. Let's listen to it together. And then they do.
Okay.
Do they do that or no?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
They probably do. I don't know. The ladies. So what else, Bridge? What else you got on your mind? Nothing?
Not much.
Really?
Everything that's on my mind has been recorded.
Psychosomatically?
Yep, it's all there.
Right. That's crisp.
And so clean. Where am I? Who are you? What's that? Why am I naked? What am I doing here?
All right, a little bit of play acting there.
We will not hurt you.
And so what should I guess we're getting close to an hour here, or somewhere around an hour.
We're already past an hour.
All right, what do you want our outro music to be? Any requests?
Yeah.
Wait, let me see if I got one song. If there's this one
That's
song.
it. That's my request.
This is the song right here. It just seems appropriate. And this goes out to my guy who said he was going to be fair and honest about the car thing. And I just feel like he's not being as fair and as honest and as forthcoming as he could have been. So this goes out to you. Maybe I did wish upon your star, you son of a bitch.
This is nice.
You know,
Loud.
nothing like Disney. They really had some great
So
tunes.
that's it for this week. Next week, we'll see you for another hour. We hope you had fun listening to us.
Right. Great song.
Just remember,
Wow, real classy tune. No anger in his voice.
none.
Just, hey, have a nice day. Don't go and be mad at somebody.
Just remember your dreams can come true.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great time. Hey, it can only get better.
Yeah, it can only get better. This is only number 2.
Right. All right.
And I'm going to wish upon a star that this podcast gets better.
There you go. Take it easy. See you next time.